Thank you for joining us today for Sunday Conversations. Today, we continue our relationship series. Our topic is coined, Are You the Problem Concerning Your Relationship? Sit back, enjoy, and delight yourself with these conversations. Good morning. I am Minister Isaac and welcome to Sunday Conversations. Today, I have my homeboy with me, a great friend. We actually met through a mutual friend. And then his and our friendship took on a whole nother turn. So welcome to Sunday Conversations, Pastor Frank Henderson. What's up, Pastor Frank? You are muted, bro. You muted.
Let's do that again, man. My bad. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. It's an honor to be here with you.
Oh, man, thank you. Look, y'all don't know how hard it was to get this man to agree to come to Sunday Conversations.
Are you serious,
y'all
man,
just don't
right
know.
now?
Yeah.
Stop playing.
Okay, hey, but let's jump right in it, man, because we got a fire topic. So let's start off the back. We're going to get into one of the hard conversations right off the back. Roe versus Wade. So January 24th, the Supreme Court overturned the woman's right of choice when it comes to their body. I know that what was put out versus the undertone of the judgment, but I want to hear your viewpoint on the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade.
Well, I knew that was going to happen. It was right there. It was for everybody to see once they got Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett. I'm just talking from the hip here, but I knew things were going to happen along that way. And right now, one of the things I say to our church is that there are a lot of women around the nation that are hurting right now because they feel as if their right to choose has been taken away. And it's a very touchy subject. And I know they're having revolts and protests all around the nation. People are trying to get something done about this. They're pulling on the president. They're pulling on the Congress. You know, the House just passed a bill. It is a big time situation. The way I personally feel about it is that as a believer, as a Christian, I don't think that we should be gung-ho about abortion. I don't think it's something that is in the eyes of God, the right thing to do. But I also know that in the eyes of God, he would never take away our choice. And so one of the things I look at is the fact that even in the beginning, in the garden, God let them choose what they were going to do. And he'll let us choose what we're going to do. He's not going to run around the corner saying, no, don't do it. But, you know, we talked about that. And I just want to add this caveat to the whole thing. While all of these women, primarily white women, are running around the country now. They're making commercials now. They're saying, hey, you know, I had a pregnancy. My life was in jeopardy. It's funny how they make the face of abortion now, white women, but they were voting like it was black women. And it's funny to me because one of the things I'm telling people is, I get it. We don't want anybody's choice taken away, but also we need voting rights.
Definitely agree. You know,
I think it's a deal.
I do find it pretty interesting that they voted against abortion, but would not vote to permanently make to make voting a right for Black Americans. So I do agree with you on that. I thought that Roe versus Wade took a deeper turn. And in my study and in my research of it, the overturning of Roe versus Wade to me was more about saving the white race. Meaning this, it's already proven that by the year 2035, that white America would be the minority in the United States of America. Okay. Even though that the stats say that 36% of white women get abortions, 38% of Black Americans get abortions, 18% of Asians get abortions, and some like 12% of 21% of Hispanics get abortions. But even though that Black America has a higher abortion percentage than white America, but when you look at the numbers, the 36% of white women that get abortions, the numbers is higher than the 38% of Black women. And and when you naturally see the percentage, because we look at just those averages real quick, but we don't get into the details of the number. So it's actually more white women that get abortions than it is any other race in America. So with that,
I knew that.
Yes.
I didn't need no facts and figures because Shaniqua got her kids.
Yeah. Exactly. So
I see her at church on Sunday.
Exactly. So when you look at that, I felt that it was more about we have to do something to preserve our white power, our white control, and even when you get into the politics of it, and I know that we're not going to go down that road. That's the reason why that certain people are placed in those offices purposely, or the ones that are appointed to those offices purposely. It is to even though that we may become the minority, but we can always maintain power. So yes, okay. So
I agree with you. Can I add one more thing to that?
Yes. Go right ahead.
The other piece I'd like to add is that we see because of this, we have to understand that the people primarily that are making decisions about women, their choice, their bodies, their health, the things they go through, the pregnancy, are men.
Exactly.
It's men making these decisions. And this is why I tell people it's so important for voting. The only way we're going to flip this nation to balance, to racial equality, to voting rights, protecting voting rights, people got to get out here and put some people in these offices, man, with the right minds and the right heart. Right. It's trying to flip the whole entire situation, man. If we don't do this country going to keep running off this cliff. And the only way we're going to stop that is good people have to say, I'm going to run for office. I'm going to do what it takes. I'm going to represent people in the right way. I'm not going to be moved by money. I'm not going to be moved by corporations. I'm going to come in there and make decisions that are rooted in what my constituency wants. And I think that's what's got to happen. If we don't get that taken care of and protect voting and cherish voting for what it is, we're going to have this problem forever.
Definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. Okay, so Epic Church. Tell us about Epic Church.
Epic Church, man. Something God put in my heart a few years ago to go back home. To me, it's all about going back home. I grew up in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I gave my life to Christ the summer of 1982. I've been a church planter since 1999. This will be my fifth and final plant. I usually plant, then walk, a few years later. But this time, this is my last go all the way back around, starting back at ground zero, going home. And EPIC stands for Empowering People in Christ. You can find out more about us at epicfc.org. But it's a nice little church, man. We've had about 14 weeks of actual physical services. We've been online about 2 years, and that's where our strongest piece is right now online. We worked on it the hardest and the longest. But yeah, definitely, you can check us out on our Facebook page every Sunday night, 7:30. We get into the word, teaching series, all that kind of thing. But it's about a group of people coming together, man, where Christ is the head, where we hold him as the head. We honor him. We submit to his will through submitting to his word. And we just want to see a city turn for Christ. That's it.
Okay, awesome. What is the thing that, or what are some things that members get wrong about pastors?
I think one of the things that, to me, the biggest thing people get wrong about pastors is that we always pastors. And we're not. We're only pastor when we're pastoring. You feel me? And I say that because there are so many pieces to us. It's not like this is Pastor Frank, period. There are a lot of other things behind my name. It's really a comma, you know. It's like I got a lady, I'm engaged, I got children, I work, I got a business. I got so many different things that come behind me. So I can't always walk around every day with the pastor hat on. But if I'm your pastor and you show up, I'm going to pastor you, especially if that's what it's called for in that moment. But we're not always in pastor mode. It's a gift. It's like your gift. You ain't always on. You're not always in that mode to do what you do. But when the time comes, you'll do what you do because it's innate within you and it's what God brings up and out of you for people that you're called and connected and linked to.
Okay. At this time, what do you find to be your hardest challenge as a pastor?
My hardest challenge is as a pastor is helping people to embrace health, healthy church. Church has been so muddied and autocratic, and it's been so where people haven't been valued and people are just used to sitting in seats and hearing somebody that's supposed to be spectacular and charismatic and all of this talk to them and never really understanding that God has called us to be a body and a function. And I can see it, because one of the things I try to do is try to erase and take away every excuse, because so many people say, I'm not doing this, my pastor won't let me do this, my church won't do this. I say, hey, all the red tape. I say the things you see about this fellowship is because you should be doing it. Let's get to work. All of a sudden, it's like, I can't be toxic anymore. I can't be a complainer anymore. I got to get off my doofus. I got to get something done. I can't just talk no more. It's like all the red tape is gone. The bureaucracy is gone. The politics is gone. It's like I got an opportunity now. There's nothing between me but air, opportunity, and we'll find out what you're made of. Whether you just want to be a complainer or whether you really want to function in the body. And that's one of the things that's the hardest thing for me, is just to see people sit in those chairs sometimes and not want to embrace healthy living, healthy Christianity, healthy church. Yeah.
Okay. COVID. So, of course, for the past 2 years, you've been online.
Yeah.
And now that you've moved back inside the building, have you found it to be a challenge to get people to come into the sanctuary?
No, not at all. I think people are ready to come back in the building. They like excited about coming back in the building. What we do is we make sure we got the sanitizer, the mask, all that kind of thing. We let them know, hey, we got the mask, we got the sanitizer, and we got the mints. So we tell them, just come on through, man. Let's do what we got to do. We haven't had any problems. Nobody's gotten COVID, any of those kind of things. People can wear their masks. It doesn't bother us at all, man. We just get it. We get it in. The only time I'm not wearing one is really when I'm preaching. Other than that, I believe in taking care of people because, the funny thing is we got a lot of older people that come to the church. So I'm surprised at that. But I tell them, hey, don't retire, refire. Let's get it going. God ain't through with you. If you're breathing, you're going to be faithful unto death. Let's get it cracked.
That's awesome. Okay. So a pastor that's single. At one point you said you didn't want to be married ever again. And now you are engaged.
I'm engaged, man.
So, because we've been at this thing for about 3 years now, Frank. So how did you recover and change your statement of saying that you didn't want to ever get married again to now that you are engaged and will be married in the upcoming year of 2023?
Man, well, the main thing for me was after the breakup of my last marriage, I went and got a house in the country. It was tore up, man, raggedy. I had to put some work in, man, paint. I had to do a lot of things, man. I just trying to get it together, lay some carpet, put some vinyl down, just to make it, habitable. And I was chilling. I was going to therapy. I was talking with my therapist. And one of the things he said was, next time God does something for you, whether you are thinking about planning a church again or seeking out a new relationship, I want you to understand that you just have to be open to whatever happens. You have to be open to, wherever she is, wherever it is. You got to be wide open for what God wants to do in your life. Let God just lead and guide you. Just follow him. Those words that Christ preached, follow me. He said they apply right now. And so a little while later, I met Yolanda online. We connected, and it's been incredible. And I got to say, man, I know God was leading me to her. I felt like I was getting healthy as a man. And then the other thing was that it wasn't hard for me to see, because I had that time to get that clear eye and to get that clear vision. And once I did, I saw how incredible she was. I saw that she was going to be the type of person that wasn't just going to be a wife in title. She was going to be a wife in action. She was going to verb out on me. She was going to wife me. And just like I was going to husband her. And, so when I met her, man, from day one, we've been like super close. I remember when I first met her, Ike, and we went to a restaurant to sit down and eat. And we were sitting in there and we walked in, I got the door open for her. We come in, I pull a chair out. I sit down beside her on the same side of the table as her. She just put her hand in my hand, man. We've been tight ever since. We had some times where, we question things about one another. We question things about should we be together. We had conversations, and I remember we had this incredible tense fellowship one time about coming out publicly together. And I felt like we weren't ready. She felt like we were ready.
I think I remember that one.
Bro, it was tough. It was tough. And so I said, you know what? Let's just do therapy. Let's commit to the sessions. I'll pay for the sessions. So I dropped about $3,500 just for sessions, man. And we sat down. She had some private ones. I had some private ones. We had some joint ones. We talked, man. There were times just digging into one another's foundation, man, where she would cut the camera off and cry. I would cut the camera off and cry. The therapist would say, that's not what Frank said. This is what Frank is saying. That's not what Yolanda is saying. This is what Yolanda is saying. And, just to be, just like they gave us that time and that space, and they gave us the ability to sit and hear one another for real. Because old habits die hard, man. If you're a hard head, you don't listen. You got to have somebody in there that would be like, let me help you understand what's really going on here. Because always our view is the right view. Mm-hmm. Because it's how we survive. But we have to learn, man. So I can honestly say, man, that my mother is a great woman. Mm-hmm. She's my mother. But as far as like a woman gonna be in my life, like my lover, my wife, my all of that, I never met a greater woman in my life than Yolanda. It's an honor. It's an honor, bro. It's an honor to have her marry me.
I think that you and I grew up. I don't think I know. You and I grew up in an era that going to counseling was taboo.
Yeah.
Especially in the Black community,
mm-hmm.
That's something that we didn't believe in.
Right.
That's something that our parents said, you keep all your business to yourself. You don't let nobody know what's going on inside of your house.
True.
Being a pastor, being one that pray and seek the face of God. I can definitely say that you're one that believe that along with prayer, along with the word, that there's also counseling that goes along with it. Where else can we apply counseling into the church?
Everywhere. Like for instance, I give an example. I mentioned this Sunday while I was preaching. I said the Apostle Paul had this great idea that if we would just follow this in church, we would be cool. Everything would flow. Everything will be nice. He gives Timothy this idea. He says, rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father. Right. Says the older women, treat them like mothers. the younger men, treat them like brothers. And then he says, the younger women, treat them like sisters. Then he adds, with all purity. And see, I believe that God understands that the church ain't nothing but a family. That's Ephesians. It's the whole family that carries his name. And so if we would just treat it like the family that it is, we could see a lot of health, and we could see a lot of things just work out positively within the church. But the issues we're having is that all kinds of lines have been blurred. All kind of problems come from when you're not in your lane and running in your lane. And I think that if we brought just that dynamic to church, to be, if we put churches in like the Bible did, we had elders in churches that were like, churches were run by a plurality of leadership. We see a lot of help, because what happens is we get into group thing. And, you know, we were like looking at how all these pastors, man, just start wilding out. And it was just like, you know, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. I said, because they just alike. They all want to be the king. And, you know, so we had to just look at that. If we want to have, if we brought that type of attitude of having a therapeutic disposition, if we had that, if we brought that kind of attitude and had a therapeutic disposition, man, we would see so much health spring forth in the body. Church would be incredible. People would want to come. People would want to love it. People would be a part of it. They would see family. We would see less gangs in the city. We would see so many things going on great in cities if we all just came together with no egos and say, you're my brother, you're my sister. I'm like a father to you. You're like a father to me. You know, all of those things. It would be incredible, man. But so that's why I look at it that way. I think the entire church, whether it be men, women, young men, young women, toddlers, everybody, I think if we were all in a therapeutic or a healing environment, church would be better.
Okay. That's an excellent point. Excellent point. So do you think that members forget that church leadership, pastors, ministers, deacons, that we're just like them? The only difference is that we've just been ordained to the position that we're in.
I think they forget. Yeah. But we help them forget the stuff we say. We be telling them, man, you know, I'm God's man, I'm God's woman. God be talking to me. I remember growing up, man, my pastor to me, because I didn't have a dad. And so once I started going to church, like, and I was actually saved, and my mom let me go to this different church. And I remember my pastor would preach, and his son was my best friend. So I'd see him at his house. I would expect him to come downstairs and be like kind of walking on water. You know, it was just all the things he was doing was kind of just like elevated. And, you know, they were kind of like hyper to me. I saw him in a hyper vigilant way. And so he would be preaching and he would walk down the aisle sometime. When he came by me, I could just promise you I felt so much power. But it was the things he was saying. It was the things he was insinuating. We insinuate so much to people. And then when we get in trouble, then we try to back up on those words and say, you know, we just like you.
I definitely feel that membership forget that pastors, ministers, elders, deacons, that we all have issues too. And sometimes we don't always conquer the issues that we have. And
True.
When they come out, I think that people be more offended because and they go to say, well, you this and you that, you should have. But they forget that we have the same challenges you know, that they have. And sometimes we miss it too. We don't discern everything. And so that we miss it too. So, okay. So church hurt, because I heard you hit a little bit about church hurt.
Yeah.
How do you think that people overcome church hurt?
I think people overcome church hurt by staying in church. That's what I believe. It's like for instance,
staying in church.
By staying in church, yeah. I don't think you can run anywhere else to get what God has only anointed the church to do. The church is a healer, man. The only thing about it is we got some loose cannons that do things. And this is what I told my children, man. If I can hurt you, I can heal you. And that's what we got to begin to do. We're the body of Christ. So I give this illustration this past Sunday of how we're a family and how we're the body. And I said, imagine that I've got a grown man stretched out across this table in front of the church, and he's alive, fully clothed. And he's just resting. But what if I walk over to him and I just snatch his entire foot off of his body? It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt him real bad, right? He's gonna be disfigured. He's not gonna function on the highest level. I said, but we do that in church all the time. We call it church hurt. But what we gotta understand, man, is that we are the body of Christ. The same body that you got hurt in has the power to heal itself. All we have to do is stick to it, have some stickability, have real honest conversations that are therapeutic in nature, that are biblical in nature, that bring accountability, that are wrapped in love, but very truthful, but wrapped in love. We can overcome anything. But we like to go out because we'll give everything a break but church. If you go to Essence Fest and they messed up your valet ticket, or somebody wrecked your car, hit your car in the parking lot, you bought some food, it wasn't fresh, you walked in there, somebody done took your seat, you'll still go back the next year.
But church,
so let's don't have it in church. Huh?
Walk away from it. You will walk away from it.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You'll walk away from it because you feel like I went to church and they should have said this or said, like, they didn't speak to me. You don't know. Maybe they just had the biggest argument of their life with their spouse before they came in here. Maybe they ain't all the way got the cobwebs out their head yet. But we give everything extra chances for church. But the church is what Paul describes as the ground and pillar of truth. You can't get that anywhere else. No other organization in the world has been anointed like the church. The church is the only organization that God vouches for. Everything else got some believers in it. And so, it has tinges of church, but it ain't church. It ain't the body. It ain't the bride. And so we got to recognize if we really want real love, we got to get it there. Where's that?
Amen. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. Okay. Any final thoughts?
Well, if I had to say, or my hope or my dream for people, man, is that we all begin to understand that God's highest desire is that we just have a relationship with him. It ain't about like houses. It ain't about cars. It ain't about spouses. It ain't about things. It's about him. And I was teaching out of Ephesians 4, and I was talking about how this body grows up. And ultimately, I talked about need, and I talked about the acronym for need was nourishment, edification, energy, and destiny. And I talked about how our destiny, according to Ephesians 4, is that we grow up into the fullness of the stature of Christ. And how God's ultimate goal for us is that we have this wonderful relationship with him. And that the same way he loves us and knows us, he wants us to love him and know him. And Paul talked about it to the church at Philippi. He said, I've got so many things, I got all kind of paper, I got all kind of awards, I got all kind of, he said, but it's nothing to me. I just want to know him. And I think if we would just get back to that kind of stuff to tell people, it ain't about money, it ain't about things, it ain't about platform, it ain't about the destiny, it ain't about being rich. It ain't about none of that. This whole thing that we do in Christianity is all about us getting to know a father that wants to know his children and he wants to love them. Like if you think about Luke chapter 15, man, when the prodigal son came back home, he kills the fatted calf, gives him a robe, puts a ring on him. And the elder son is upset. And that's one of the things we miss in Luke 15. The elder son is upset. And the father is saying like, you worry about this robe? Man, you got me. What am I, mince meat? He said, you've been with me He said, I'm just doing this over the top celebration because your brother was dead and now he's alive. And I just want to put it on, let him know he's really welcome back home. Mm-hmm. But you had me the whole time. You ain't got to be like this. And I think sometimes we look at stuff and we get enamored with rings and robes and all of that, but we forget, man, the only thing the Father wanted was to stand out there and look for his son to come home because he wanted a relationship. And that is what destiny and destination is. He is the destination. But that's my part. Yeah.
Agreed. Well, Pastor Frank, I thank you for coming to Sunday Conversations.
Thank you.
I can't wait for the part 2 to this.
Okay.
The bride-to-be is on here because we'll probably get deeper. Because we'll probably get deeper. No, I know that we will. We'll get deeper into this counseling because I want to hear her side.
Yeah.
But I know that you will be coming back to Sunday Conversation. I just want to say thank you for the time and the effort and the privilege of sitting here and talk to you doing these Sunday Conversations.
Oh man, great! The honor is all mine to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, you've been watching Sunday Conversations. Hey, Pastor Frank is in the building. If you ever get a chance, go over to his page over to Epic Church Fellowship. And definitely, but the link is down below. If you ever just want to check out his page, awesome teacher. He's a real comedian too when he teaching his word. I have sat in and watched several. So, but hey, come back next week because we got some more fire conversations going on. Hey, I'll see you next week. Peace. Thank you for watching Sunday Conversations. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next week as we continue to bring you relevant content. Remember, God has a purpose and a plan for your life. Live life intentional.